So today again we'll continue our discussion on R&D and innovation with Mr. Prasad. So when it comes to innovation, it's always difficult to foresee what may come actually, and it's always the vision of the innovator who can see everything. But how it is difficult to convince your top management either to invest on your project and align with your vision. So can you just give your experience on
Sure.
this?
I mean, this is what each and every leader should have a business acumen skill, right? Anything you're doing in an industry, in an organization, should have a business value into it, right? Without that, all your ideas and everything will fail, right? So it is an investor who's investing a money onto the organization or onto the product, and there has to be a returns for that. So each and every task, each and every employee working on the organization or on the products or on the projects, it has to map into the value, which ultimately deliverance will be there, right? So as a leader, you have to identify, that I have an idea, right? And how this idea is going to complement my existing products or the new products, and it has to be linked with the market. It has to, support the sustainability of a market you have or the product you have, and also try to make sure that the facts. So if you say that
Facts and ROI?
Yeah. I mean, when I say facts about it, see, if you don't have a facts in your hand, when I say facts, it's regarding the business numbers. You can say ROI, you can say NPV, or you can say that returns we are talking about, and margins we are talking about, and what is the competition informations we have, what kind of a market size we are talking about. So to convince the senior management, you have an idea with you, you know that where you are going to deploy it and how it's going to enhance your business growth, and for the which you should have a financial numbers with you. How it's going to value. A certain point is like, it cannot be quantified by the financial values. You cannot derive an NPV or IRR each and every time. Certain things could be strategic intent.
Okay.
If you don't get into this technology now, for example, artificial intelligence. Nowadays, AI has been very much open. Automatic diagnostics, many such things have come. So if you don't embrace those kind of a thing now, which cannot be quantified in terms of numbers now, but it gives an added value to the customer to be sustaining in the market, right? And to compete with our competitors, right? So a leader should be very clear about his or her vision. What is it I want to do? And with that clarity of vision you have, you try to collect the facts. You try to collect the information you have. And put it in a kind of an orderly fashion and keep it simple.
Okay.
I know I myself have presented to some of the things to a steering committee and they say so confused. What are you talking here? So the lesson learned is try to keep it simple.
Okay.
Explain to the facts, to the story. So that you know clearly that they should be, management should be able to see that you have a clear focus, where you want to go. And this is how it will be encashed, over a period of time. Certain strategies can be explained to them, saying that this is what we have to evolve like that. So we use that. There is no. I mean, I would say that there's no any kind of a specific tool I have been using it. But it's more of work with them. Work with the senior leaders, and take them along the way. It's not like that one fine day you come with a beautiful idea and present it saying that give an approval. So you have to work towards that perfection.
Right. From the day one itself, you involve your top management. That's how you are saying, right?
Yes, everything happens in isolation. Because you being a kind of a business leader as well now, you can be an R&D head, but still you're a business leader. So you should understand the value proposition of everything which you are doing it. So you have to articulate that, and keep it simple, collect the facts, and show them. They should be able to see what you're saying.
Right.
That negotiations or the convincing skill you should be having it to do that.
So one interesting thing I learned is the presentation has to be simple and convincing. So nowadays people go behind fancy presentation that is not required. It has to be simple and convincing. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you an example. When I was working for Caterpillar back in US, I used to work on this Six Sigma projects and everything. So where we developed some kind of a macro tool. How do we select the issues by categorization of issues, prioritization of issues and everything. So I came with a beautiful table, beautiful macros and everything. One gentleman, I forgot his name, I still have his card. He says, Prasad, you know what, everything is fantastic. But if you don't make it simple, keep it simple, guess what? You may have, later on, you may be the one operating this and it will be painful for you because it's complicated. Which you have created.
That's interesting. Okay.
So keep it simple to an extent of it's a direct line. A clear visions and goals. What is it you would like to do? How it is connecting to the business value. What is the returns we are talking here? If it is a strategic thing, why the strategy which you are thinking is a right strategy. Take an input. Discuss with your colleagues. Discuss with your senior management. Take experts' advice. So it's a kind of an evolving process. It's not like you alone presenting something and saying that it's required, right? So many of the time we sit with our sales team, sales director, and we say, what, this is what we are planning to do. What do you think? Is there a market there for this? So it's a kind of an evolving, process.
That's interesting. Can you explain in short how do you align innovation goals with the business goals?
So number one is any ideas, any innovation should have value attached to it. Not a fancy. And sometimes people get into that, it's nice to have like this, and I like it. Early phase of my career, I also was tempted by like that, you can have like this. That's the reason if you see some of the designs which are kept it so complicated that, it has become fancy. So each and every ideas or innovation we are investing a time for that. It's not like that. Innovation is just a word. Time is engaged. Money has been spent. Right. So it has to have a value into it. First of all, you should have a very clear focus. What is it you would like to achieve? Right. That is required. It is not for fancy. It is for the business objective. If it is not linking to the business objective, then it's pretty much like one point in time it will come to a halt. Now, being said that, there are certain innovative companies, the big giants. They also it's industry you're talking about. You take a pharmaceutical industry, you take electronic industry. They were pretty much ahead of the game. They invested for the strategy. They want to have innovation for the long term. What's the futuristic vision of it? So if you know that, then it is very easy to move towards that. So certain companies does it intentionally because they want to invest the money. Apple, for example, Samsung, they want to invest the money so that they want to be a pioneer in that kind of a technology, right? Certain companies like the company which I am working on, we know that technology is existing, but then there are no takers, but the marketers or customers are not matured to that extent. So we wait for the appropriate time to come. It's not like that staying back, but it's more of testing the markets. Testing the markets and see that affordable things can be given to them. So if any ideas, if it doesn't have a business value into it, it is no longer to be considered. Unless otherwise, it is a strategy. So the business or the market which you are in. Pharmaceutical company, you need to have this research to be done constantly.
True.
So that you evolve with new drugs and everything. So there you can't say that today it's not giving a value. No. This is for 5-10 years down the line, right? So but then 5-10 years down the line there has to be a strategy for that. It's not like that 10 years ke baad main use karta hu. Right? So I should be able to, as an R&D leader, you should be able to see that where you should be very thorough in your market. Which market, which landscape you are in. Right? You should have a clear idea of that market and try to do if at all you want to do a market disruption, you should be able to do it with your long-term goals. But keep in mind, always do an affordable innovation. Affordable innovation. You can't have a gold-plated vehicles or instruments or something like that, which is not used by anyone. Reliance, for example,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
they do an affordable innovation,
Right,
which is affordable for a customer to use it. At the same time, that complements to the growth. End of the day, if customer doesn't want it,
Right.
your product is very expensive.
Right.
Then what is the purpose of having innovation?
That's
Right?
true.
But still, there are some premium manufacturers are there, and they want to be in the premium because that is their strategy. Like Rolls-Royce, for example, they will not come to the Indian roads and compete with the Suzuki, Maruti, right? They have a pride in that. You know, they are unique pioneer in those technology, and they have a selective customer, selective markets like that. You know, that is the strategy of the organization. But then, if you do an affordable innovation, which is linking to the business values, you know, then your innovation potential will become a success.
So aligning with the vision of the company is very important.
Right.
Right. So with this, I have a little different question. If you want to answer, you can answer. So I work with a lot of innovators, inventors across pan India, across the globe, I can say. And individual inventors I'm talking about, they don't have funds mostly. And most of the innovators, what they aspire is, okay, once I get a patent, it will be very easy to license it out to a big MNCs. Why I'm asking this question, because you said there is a vision. Always there is a vision, and your R&D remains focused within that vision. Either it is cost effective or expensive, like Rolls-Royce, right? And these innovators, generally 90% they fail to do licensing to the companies. Or in the reverse way, the big companies like your company, they don't opt to go for licensing. So is it only because it's not aligned in their vision, or is there anything different that you want to just share?
Share my views with one example. Recently, I saw a video from Ford US, the CEO of that company, Ford, who manufactures the vehicles and everything. He was saying that you see that, you know, in the test track, my car is going. It's a great car, but I don't know how that one drives.
Okay.
Because the software written for that vehicle is another company.
Okay.
Okay, I'll not say that which company is that. It's a very big company. Yes, but so the OEMs, what they have done is they have outsourced some of the key technological things, you know, and now the entire vehicle is running. If they want to make some changes into that software or some features or functionality, we have to go through them. They only know how to do it. So what has happened is the OEMs sometimes they lose an edge about the technology because you outsource certain critical things. So the Ford CEO was saying about like moving forward, we are going to develop our own team.
Okay.
So that I know how to control my product, not XYZ.
So dependency would be reduced completely.
Exactly. So yes, there are several companies come for licensing. You know, they have an innovative product, something which they want to do here. One is affordability. Like in our example, in my machinery industry itself, there is one major German-based MNC. They have a technology, and we have been using their technology. Quite frankly, couple of years ago, we decided that we wanted to have a sustainable, our own, internal team want to have this knowledge, and we want to have our own control into it. So we developed our own, software for that. So now we are independent. We don't have any external dependency. It's not bad to have them because they have a ready-made solution available. You can license, you can put it into it. But then there is no any kind of a clear line saying that you should not go there or you should not be in your area. It is more of how much you can afford to pay a license or to give a, what you can say, the so-called, shares, for them in terms of, licensing fees you are talking about. Or at the same time, how much you can afford to develop the technology. Because if you want to develop your technology, in-house your technology, it might take several years to come to that capability. Whereas these, big companies, they have their own technology. And they pioneer into the technology. Like, for example, engines. We are OEM, so we get the engines from Cummins. We get the engines from Leyland. Those guys are expert in that kind of aggregates. So we get from them. But it's more of a buying and selling.
Buying and
You know, nothing licensing.
Licensing
into it.
is okay.
But certain products, if you want to use their thing, you know, so they control, you know, the changes and other things and all. So the dependency increases.
Okay.
So it differs from company to company how we want to play along.
Okay.
You know, we are also dependent on several vendors. You know, we pay a licensing for certain things and all. But then, quite frankly, we also develop our own thing based on our strategic call, you know, which we take.
Okay. So, in short, if I can summarize this, companies are mostly interested in reducing their dependency,
Right.
right?
Affordability.
And control the timing as well. Because if you are not dependent, you have more control on timing as well.
Right.
Right. So that is what I can understand.
Yes,
right?
precisely.
Okay. How effective a leader has to be to present innovation with an ROI to its top management?
Good. So, as I was saying earlier, innovation based on strategy, you know, innovation, which is when I say strategy, it's more of a long term, innovation based on the current needs, right? So, you have to keep the current needs of it, the short term goal where we are having it, at the same time, the long term goals, right? So, you should be very clear about your market, where you are playing around. You should be very clear about how it's going to complement the customer in terms of the customer value and the business value, right? And most importantly, affordable innovation. When I say affordable innovation, it is not only for customer to pay, it is the budget you're talking about.
Budget. Okay.
Like for example, you take, I wanted to use a nuclear battery. To bring that technology here, it's going to take how many, I don't know how many millions is that, or the time you're talking about. So affordability in terms of investment I have to make, you know, is it really, futuristic, or it's really, you know, I can do it now? Do you have a budget for that? And it's going to give a value from the 6th year, for example.
Okay.
Such a long term to establish that. You know, any company will say that, you know, why you are getting it there. You know? So innovation to meet the short term needs, innovation to meet the long term needs to be a sustainable, you know, the leadership position and things like that. So if you don't have that clarity in your mind, you know, then you come with some kind of a fancy technology, you know, and I'll tell you, even the minor slight or very simple innovation will give a huge value to the customer. For example, Mahindra has bought, mobile charging into their bikes. They have a charging port.
Right.
You know, this I'm saying 4 or 5 years ago. Whenever you take a vehicle, you know, and nowadays they're talking about even you put your headset and speak while driving.
Right.
So keep your phone inside your, you know, that below the seats, and charging port as well. This I'm saying on the two-wheeler. Small values to it. You know, in my equipments itself, like customers still ask about give me a charging port.
Okay.
In the machinery segment, I'm telling you.
Okay.
They're asking for give me a charging port. I have to keep my mobile here.
Okay.
You know, I want to connect it.
Right.
So it is. I wouldn't say it's a kind of an innovation, but these are some of the features which we provide. You know, small features which gives added value or major value to the customer.
Okay.
So you should be able to differentiate that. You know, the short term, how I can attract my customer by providing these kind of things. In fact, one of the things I'll tell you, which we have not implemented, there are some kind of technology we worked on. See, off-highway equipments, these road equipments and off-highway equipments, those equipments are kept pretty much in the remote area. You go to mines, you go to a road construction site or any sites, it is so remote. So guys will be working till 7 o'clock in the night, and by the time it's completed, so it'll be pitch dark. Now, how this customer or the operator will come to the safe zone in the road? Because we're talking about off-highway, like, you know, from the road it'll be a few meters, you know, maybe a kilometer inside or something like that. So in our construction world, we have, you know, a kind of a lights, guide me kind of a lights. So there is a timer switch. You just switch on the timer, you know, and lights will be on. Your headlights will be on for him to reach safely.
Okay.
To a desired location like that.
Okay.
So after 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, automatically light will get switched off.
Okay.
That technology is there. So I was thinking one step behind, one step ahead about I'll have a remote with me. I have a remote keys. So now I'm, let's say, 500 meters away from the vehicle, and I have to approach there, and I want to make sure that I need a light. Let's say I'm going early in the morning, or I'm leaving in the evening, won't return. So I have a remote. I click my remote, the lights will on. Now the lights will on not only on this, on 360 degrees.
Okay.
It will try to find where is my customer through a sensor.
Okay.
Through a remote device. If I'm standing here and vehicle is there, the light is on that side, I click it, it turns and it knows that where my customer is.
Okay. Okay.
And it gives light, to an extent.
Okay. Okay.
So we worked on such a kind of a technology, which is an affordable. It also gives a greater value to the customer. So those kind of things which we think about, and we want to develop that, and because as the the affordability of the customer affording factor is increasing, they are also looking for this kind of a technology.
The number of cells also gradually will increase.
Right. I mean that's how you show that exactly. Right? It's not like that you have to have a complete new invention like that. Small things cuts into pieces. Then your product will be much more innovative. Over a period of time.
More sellable as well.
Right. I mean, it gives a business value. Exactly. So your sales team will promote your product, based on these features, which could be unique to your mission compared to a competition.
Not always you have to think way out of the box, but small improvements also add lot of value to the ROI to the company. That's what I can understand, right?
Right. We also always do a innovation workshop. We have a monthly workshop. We sit with them. We ask for ideas to flow, and then we categorize those ideas. Hey, this is for the short term. They can bring it up. This is because it depends on investment as well. How much time it takes, whether we have the technology available, whether we have a talent available to do that. So sometimes we want to collaborate with IITs, to get their expert advisors into it. So that's how it works always. And any company they do in that fashion.
That's interesting. This is a question that I ask to everyone actually. India has a big population, 1.4 billion, right? And we have crossed China. But hiring, retaining and motivating team is the biggest challenge. So starting with hiring, do you face any challenges in hiring good resources to add to your team?
Well, it's very interesting question and needed question in today's context. See, our country has grown. The generations have come. The thought process is different now.
Okay.
Right. So I say to myself that try to change yourself and try to adapt with a current culture or current evolving process we have. So when you talk about hiring, I'll tell you that I look for three things in the candidate. For me, it worked out. First one is an attitude.
Okay.
Second one is discipline.
Okay.
Third one is self-motivation.
Self-motivation. Okay.
It's not like that other things are not important. They are equally important. But I put attitude on the first.
Okay.
Because you should have a right attitude always at any given time of it.
Can you just elaborate what right attitude means in your particular
okay. So for example, there are challenges coming in your way, right? There's challenging times are there in terms of you don't have a budget, or you have a tough time in delivering certain things, or your manager is being very strict on certain things which has to be done. So you should have a right attitude in terms of accepting your failures.
Okay.
You should have a right attitude about how you see the problem.
Okay.
Right? And you should have a right attitude about how you see others.
Okay. Interesting.
When we go and meet others, we always have a perception.
Yeah. True.
I've seen you. Oh, I have not even taken a time to understand about you. But I have a perception based on your body language, based on your look and everything. Or maybe this guy, he's very stubborn, strict. But when you try to go and work with them closely, you come to know these are a wonderful person.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So if you have a right attitude, you know, you will manage any situations because you are thinking you'll always be positive.
Okay.
You know, at any given circumstances, or you know, it's not like that in your in the organization you work. Everything is going to be in your favor, right? There will be always ups and downs, right? But your attitude should be always towards a positivity, so that the tide will change, you know, and then eventually you also get along with that.
Okay. Okay.
So for me, attitude is very important. You know. And number two is discipline. You know, discipline of doing the things in the right order is the most required. If you want to pass your 12th standard, if you want to get your engineering degree or PhD, you are disciplined enough to do the studying, right?
Yeah.
Likewise, you have to have a discipline in doing the things which you are doing it in a right, in orderly fashion.
Okay. Okay.
There are a famous book called 4 Disciplines of Execution.
Okay.
5 Disciplines of Execution, which talks about, you know, how do you set your goals, you know, your weekly goals, and align that weekly goals to your business objectives, and also try to see the trend whether you are failing or not, you know, and improvise it.
Okay.
So the discipline is the most required in any profession you take, which you are moving forward. If you don't have the discipline in you, then you lose a consistency, you know, and then you try to slip away. And the third one, which he talked about, is you know, self-motivation. The reason I'm saying that is, let it be a leader or a non-leader. You make an effort. You try to bring good things into it. At sometimes it's not getting recognized, or you know, it's not a right time to get recognized, or something like that. And at sometimes I manage a team, and it's not like that all my ideas are getting materialized, you know, because of the business priorities and things like that. I cannot get demotivated.
Okay.
Me as a leader get demotivated. What happens to my team?
True.
I'll tell you one classic example. You know, I'll not name the company, but we were developing a product, and this product wants, you know, we have a budget for that, no issues, and we are having X power of engine, you know. So we have developed it, and in the midway, we had a crazy idea about why can't we reduce the power?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have a different power, same engine. We reduce the power of the engine so that the fuel economy will be there, and with the torque we are talking about, it will still do the needed things. We came with a concept. The program is live, going on. We came with a concept, and that concept was proposed to the management. And for some reason, management said, no, just stick on to your course.
Okay.
Don't do it. You know, 2-3 times I was trying to sell it. Maybe I'm not a good seller, I don't know. Internally, management said, no, you should not do it. You know, just stay on to your course. So what we did is, I took a risk. You know, I should not compromise the timing. The mainstream program is going on. So I want to prove to the management with a working prototype. You know, it's not a concept, it's just a working, it will work. So along with few other gentlemen, we sat together. We took extra hours from our office hours. You know, beyond 6 o'clock, we sat till 9, 10. We developed that concept. You know, we derated our engine and worked on that. We did a lot of measures in terms of meeting the performance, and also we presented to the customer to get their first-hand opinion. Okay. So we took that story also. We took an interview, and then once again we knocked the door of the management, like, hey, you know what? It's not a concept. It's not a theoretical concept, but see, it is workable.
Okay.
You know? Sadly, they still said no.
Okay.
No. Just stay on to your course. You know, they are not in the listening mode. So what we did is, we have a gate 3 in the sense, like, you know, with the point where it comes that now you have to take this or this part. You know, so we matured the project. We matured both the things. Like, you know, it's not additional any investment. It's more of derating your performance. You know, and trying to match the curve. So we developed that. Then we brought it to a point a decision point where now we have to go to the productionization or the prototyping, testing of prototyping. Now you tell me, do you want this? Do you want this? And of course, this both has a business value.
Okay.
This you go, but when you go to the option which we are proposing, you'll have a 2 lakhs of savings. And supported by all the videos, customer feedback and everything. So finally, when it was presented, in orderly fashion, management took the ideas which we came up with. So the motivation you as being a leader has to be self-motivated. If you lose that, then your team, what will happen to your team? Right. Now, this also applies to the lower level people. Because I just grown to this kind of a level, trying to be a self-motivation. It's not like all your ideas will be granted for that, So, but then you have to consistently, promote it, try to be on the track. So hiring a talent, I look for these 3, of course, their experiences, background and everything. Now, if you have a team, Sunit, each and every individual is unique.
Correct.
There is no highly talented, lowly talented.
True.
Sorry to say that, because each and every individual has a talent and capability.
Correct.
It is a leader's job to identify the talent in them. Right. Maybe the talent, whatever they have, could be useful for internal processes.
Right.
So if you identify that, then you can able to map a path for them for the growth.
So you're talking about retaining and then
the hiring part is completed. Now we have a people came into it.
So before we complete that, can I ask you one question? First, attitude you said, right attitude. When we recruit a person, it's very difficult to gauge these kind of attitudes actually. Nowadays, people with ChatGPT and everything in place, they are very much equipped to camouflage these things and answer in a very effective way. So, do you have anything that you want to share to gauge the people when you are conducting an interview that they have a right attitude?
Okay. See, I'll tell you, when I was in a kind of as a designer, you float a resume or you apply for a job, and you never knew why the bloody hell it's not getting shortlisted. Or you attend an interview, you don't know why the hell they didn't select you.
Correct.
They selected someone else. So because you are on this side of the table.
Right.
Now when you sit on the other side of the table, I precisely know why I was not shortlisted, or why I couldn't clear the interview. Because as you learn into the process, right, you have an experience, you have seen ups and downs, you have been into different leadership, organization. So when you see the profile of a person, which is goody, right? And when you interact with a person, you can precisely gauge whether he or she has really worked into or not.
Okay.
That we go by what they have written in their profile. We'll ask for examples. We ask for, tell me what is it you have done. So you'll be able to precisely gauge in a minute or so. Within 2 minutes, you can gauge that whether that person has really worked or not.
Okay.
You can have a fancy ChatGPT. In spite of that, I'll tell you that, certain hiring we have made, and after we feel like, what is it we have done? It happens because your real personality will come into a play, and when you start doing a work,
and when you are
your
under pressure,
real attitude and everything will come into a play. Because in a 1 hour of interview, you do a best with your knowledge and skills you have. You assess the candidate, and you select best and best to the best of your knowledge. But the real performance you'll be seeing down the line in 6 months, how they work, how their thought processes, how their attitude is, how their knowledge is, and everything. Now they have come into the system now, right? So what I try to see, even though I wouldn't say it's a bad candidate, a candidate has come. We have selected with the conscious knowledge. So they come over here and try to see that how can I make best utilization of them.
Okay.
They have certain skills, they have certain strength and weaknesses. Can I utilize them to best of my deliverance?
But just to add clarity, if you have hired them for X job and you find them that they are not that much good in X, but they have something that can be aligned well for a Y job, that's where you align them. That's what you're talking, right? Okay.
Yeah. So For example, I hire a guy for engine system.
Okay.
For the engine, I need a expertise in engine system, and we have hired him, and you will come to know that he has not. He worked on engine, he had touched base on the surface level, but it doesn't have an in-depth knowledge of it. So either you try to help them in terms of putting some kind of experts below him,
Okay.
or working along with them, or if he has a knowledge in vehicle integration, not the core engine of it, try to give them a different profile, adjust it internally. So I do my best in terms of accommodating them in terms of give them a task which align with his experience, expertise, or try to get the best out of him. Unfortunately, if the attitude is so bad, like they are not a constant learner or opposing a challenge, then we'll try to see that can he be a best useful in other places in the organization, because there are other functions still exist, So that's how I do it. So I don't see any resource as a wasteful resource. Everyone is unique. Everyone has their talent, and you have to bring them along with you. Now, when you come to retention, let me talk about the motivation here. So each and every people coming inside the organization has an objective, right? They want to learn, they want to grow, and they want to see their path, how I'm going to be a part of this organization for the long term or short term, like that. So give them an open space, empower them, give them an opportunity to work, so that they can able to see that they are adding a value into the system, right? So once you provide that, now you should understand one thing about is the reality. The market is wide open. There are a lot of better opportunities exist outside the world, outside the organization. So you try to give them the best. You try to give them the training. You try to expose them to the customer. You try to put them in the spotlight. Encourage them to do better things, best thing, and if they come up with the best ideas and everything, try to show them in terms of a management. Do the best, exactly. Rewards, appreciation, everything. Do the best you can provide. Now, there's always a constraint. You can't go beyond a budget. At sometimes the expectation is for a guy could be like he wants to grow very quick, into the ladder, or his expectation on monetary things would be higher, where you have a constraint. So at sometimes you get caught into that, right? So then you accept the reality, the market reality, what is happening, and then finally you accept the reality. You tell them, see, it's a very small world. You might collaborate later in a different place. So then don't get upset. Fine, accept the reality. It's a new talent. Talent. It's a democratic world.
Right.
So accept the reality and wish them all the best.
That's interesting. So with this, I would like to ask you one question: how leadership and mindset of R&D resources can affect success of the company?
Okay. So see, whenever we talk about R&D, or especially the leadership in R&D, right? So you have to provide a kind of space for the people to cherish. See, for example, we are pretty much busy on our day-to-day task.
Correct.
We have constant deliverables. We are focusing on business objectives, and we have deliverables to complete it, right? So now, in the midst of this kind of urgent work which we are doing it, what kind of empowering we are providing to the team?
Okay.
See, I've seen in many, at least in a company where I follow, many of the people in R&D even doesn't know how to file a patent.
Okay.
They are not even aware about the process of how to get the patent done or design registration done.
Okay.
That is one of the things is like the leaders have to pretty much vocal and try to train the team, saying that these are the opportunities exist in terms of getting the things done. So in that context, if you see that policies, what kind of a policy organization has kept it for the people to come innovative or support. Right. These are things which I say it's a kind of a mindset. Like several companies doesn't even have a policy. They have a innovation process itself exists. where you have to go and contact the patent department, and they try to take them through the next levels of things like that.
Okay.
But then in certain companies where I have seen that, they don't even have a process of rewarding or encouraging.
Okay.
Right? So one of the classic example is one of my colleague who worked with me. He worked with some kind of a Chinese company, in the construction equipment, and he moved to a different organization. You wouldn't believe he still got a royalty, payment, in spite of moving to a competitor's company.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Whereas one US-based MNC company, another colleague, until the time he was there in the company, he got a royalty. The moment he moved to a competitor, they snapped it.
Okay.
They don't know now. No longer we'll provide you a royalty for it. I mean, fine. It's a policy each and every organization has, but then the idea principally was driven by the X result. So I'm not getting into the policies of each and every company, but then by and large, as a leader, first of all, we have to have this framework that how are we going to promote innovation within the organization, within the R&D team, or outside the R&D team. Innovation doesn't mean that it has to happen only in R&D. It can happen in manufacturing process, it can happen in supply chain, in all other areas. Having a firm guidelines, which has to encourage people to contribute for it. Provide them the time to do it. As an R&D leader, you have to have an innovation workshop. And you should have encouraging videos, show them where the world is going through, right? Similarity of the industry knowledge. Like for example, if I'm in a road construction equipment, I don't restrict my team just to do some study on road construction equipment. I say them just go and attend some seminars or something, about automotives. Aerospace. Because some of the technology we use over there, which is not used in construction equipment, can be used.
Correct.
So this framework should be in place. Number one, that is pretty much like, first of all, you should believe as a leader, you should believe that, we have to have a framework in place so that it encourage participation. It also give sufficient time for the people to think about, motivate them. And also it helps you, in a business in terms of bringing the new ideas on the table. Failing which, what happens is like, we are pretty much busy in our day-to-day schedule. And the days goes on and then, you lag behind the race.
These are the qualities that are required for the R&D leader to keep their team motivated.
Yes.
Right. And you mentioned that patent is also like rewarding them, adding their name or giving them inventorship is also one of the rewards, right? And monetization is another different reward, I guess.
Exactly. So first inventor will be certainly the designer or the person who invented this innovation. And the second and third will be like organization or something like that. But the funny thing is, for whatsoever reason that person had to leave the company, then this inventor title is gone away. It belongs to an organization, company. Yes, certainly the organization has invested on him, in terms of doing it. So it varies, companies to company.
So that's great insights, Mr. Prasad. So what styles of motivation and leadership styles that you found effective to keep the team motivated? So is there any specific style that you use or that you want to share with us?
Yes. Well, so we have several leadership styles. As you work in an organization, you change your style depends on the need of the hour. Certain things you have to be very demanding. If you want to get some certain deliverables will be completed. But then I pretty much use a democratic style or coaching style leadership. See, principally, there is a learning curve for everyone, right? So you might know certain things, and your team leader or team member would know certain things. So it is more of you have to learn and you have to coach them as well. So I had exchange of ideas, exactly. So it is going to be a two-way street. You should be open for it, and you also have to mentor in terms of to the people to have this kind of an attitude. Back in US, I worked for a great guy called Mr. Tony Zambito. He was my boss, And he used to, I mean, people used to say he's a people's man, you know.
Okay.
He spends a lot of time with the people in terms of understanding their concern, coaching them, and also, you know, training them in the aspects of, you know, this technicality. So reflecting on those kind of leadership styles, you know, I follow the same footprint because in my view, authoritarian style is no longer will be needed. You know,
Relevant, I can say.
it's irrelevant, I would say, in R&D. Unless otherwise, you know, you literally have a kind of there is no other way, you know, you have to put your foot down. But pretty much, if people knew that what is it you want, they could able to foresee that, you know, they're going to come along with you. So spend time with them. You know, I used to spend time with my people, getting their ideas or, you know, concerned about it. You know, not only on the professional side, but sometimes we speak on the personal side of it. You know, if they wanted to go for higher educations or trainings, you know, so that you know, they have to feel like, you know, you are looking after them.
Okay.
You know, that is what principally is about. And quite naturally, no one is there to fool around. You know, if you have give them a clear focus, guidelines, and coaching, you know, they are just going to excel in whatever the things they are doing.
Right. So over the 27 years of your career, you have been working with Indian companies, foreign companies. You have been working in the foreign soil, on the foreign soil for many years, right? What do you see the difference? Why we don't focus Indian specifically? Asia is a big country where we see a lot of innovations, but in specifically we compare to only India. So what is the difference that you see that Indian leaders have in comparison to these foreign leaders? So what is the mindset difference?
Good. So number one is when you take India, we are pretty much behind technological advancement, you know, compared to the Western world.
Right.
So we are always in terms of a catching up of what is happening on the other side of the world. Right. When you take, as I work, this is once again my views, you know, since I worked in US as well, you have a kind of a sufficient time, you know, for them to think creatively, you know, work on some solution. They demand, the leadership demands, you know, some kind of a new evolving technology. Whereas in India, at least my experience until I took a leadership role, you have been pretty much directed to just do whatever is required to do to meet the current needs, you know. So I'd pretty much say that it's more of a culture that we want to bring something new in the Western world, the technologically, versus India where we are just trying to fulfill whatever it's required now to meet my business need. So I see this is a principal difference as per me. You know, yes. Is the trend is changing now? It's changing. About the recognition of the guys, you know, whether kind of a work they do in Western world, it's pretty much much more open and honest. Right. Whereas here we try to encash it.
Okay.
You know, so I hope things will change moving forward. At least in my company, Aman, at least in my leadership, I have kept a goal for everyone that each and every designer in my team should have a patent on their name.
Okay, great.
You know, because when I worked, no one taught me about patents.
Okay.
We have been, a lot of designs we have done, which was innovative, but we never thought it was an innovative. So we never applied for a patent or anything like that. So I lost an opportunity, whereas my team members should not lose an opportunity. So I encourage even the lowest cadre in my team to the senior people. I say that I want a patent. It is part of their MBOs, in fact.
Okay.
You know, saying that develop, show me the concept, let's apply for a patent, and I want a patent to be seen on your name.
That's great.
You know, so many industry leaders are doing that same. Maybe it's not coming out to the light, but they know in the small cells they are doing it. One day collectively we'll become a leader, you know, in innovation. We are catching up. We are catching up for sure. Okay. We still have a long way to go.
Right. In my perspective, I think so. People are very aggressively innovative, but the leadership is not still evolved to accept this innovative mindset. That's what I can see.
Precisely. I kudos on that.
Okay.
You know, That's what it's important for a leader to first recognize and see, give them the space
Right.
in doing so. See, I'll tell you a classic example. We have launched, this year we have launched close to 11 products.
Great. Okay.
We worked, slogged, and a lot of things has to be done. We have done it. And on the hindsight, did we had a real time to spend the time to do an innovation? The answer is no.
Okay.
Principally because there is a pressure that we have to. It's a time critical program. We have to deliver it. Now, that is this year. What about next year? Next year we have another priorities. The year after that, another priorities, like that. So what we try to do is, in the ongoing process of a rapid development, we are trying to put some bits and pieces here,
Of R&D.
which is not an innovation, or it's not an invention. It is a kind of some kind of a minor innovations like that, right? So certainly, it is more of a leadership and management who has to promote
Right.
this kind of a thing, so that we can be at the level playing ground with the Chinese, or
True.
if you see Chinese, they have a culture,
Yes.
right? They promoted this culture about bring something new to the table.
Right. They are very aggressive, I guess.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
Now, people has, when the interesting thing is when I call my team members and give them saying that, I just want this here, think about it. You get a fantastic, crazy ideas actually.
Right.
Someone has to call them and ask them, think.
Right.
That is what it's missing here.
Right. Right.
No, just go and do your work. And people are busy in doing that. So you call them, give them a coffee, sit together, give them, allocate them a time, and you ask for ideas. Trust me, you get a beautiful ideas.
True. I also believe in the same. So that's fantastic to know. I hope with this leadership can also have little change in mindset, which can help them in what I can say, promoting their companies as not only cost effective but still innovative.
Right.
So again, Mr. Prasad, you have been in this automotive industry and machineries for over 27 years. So with all your core experience, what do you see where this industry will head in near future? In general, automotive and machinery industries, construction machineries, and in general now AI is something that has cracked everything. So where are we heading?
Well, I would say it's a scary part. The artificial intelligence have come. The reason why I'm saying scary is maybe we are going at very fast-paced kind of a life, especially as AI has come into the play, But yes, certainly automotives are much more in advance in terms of technology, in terms of quality and everything, and our construction machineries are catching up. Ideally, it's because it doesn't need very hi-fi kind of features and technology, but I've been just seeing the evolution of this. From 2010 I was not. Yeah, from 2010 I was associated with the construction equipment business, where it has evolved. It has changed a lot. One of the classic example is, I will say that Volvo construction equipment. They displayed a technology in one of the XCon where you can sit from here and you can see the complete remote site working in Sweden. Well-connected missions. Like you have haulers, you have dump trucks, you have excavator, you have another mission where everything is electrically operated, interconnected, and self-charged, working in the site. So this I'm saying about close to 6 years ago.
Okay.
So we have come a very long way, especially in construction, equipment industry. As I was saying earlier, the customer expectations have increased. In terms of affordability, yes, the technology is very expensive because it's a low volume industry. Like if you take a car, so you're talking about 20,000 cars, 30,000 cars. So the technology is affordable.
Right.
Whereas in construction industry, the technology is not affordable. Still, we are finding a ways to be much more optimistic in terms of our technology implementation to make it affordable for the customers. We have gone to an extent of now electrical vehicles have come. You can say a 30-ton wheel loader. Such a massive loader is running on battery now. So electrification has taken over in our industry, and in terms of quality aspects of it, people expect similar to automotives. In terms of clean looking, and in terms of features. We are even going in advance in terms of voice recognition as well.
Okay. Okay.
So like that, as the industries are promoting, the things are changing very rapidly. And now AI into it, I also came to know that a lot of automated diagnostic system is going to come in our industry, so that the complication of troubleshooting everything can be sorted out very quickly.
That's amazing.
Hybrid vehicles are coming. We are pretty much not too much behind the race in automotive. Yes, but we are catching up according to the industry standards. There's always a kind of a uplift which automotives have, because of the customer you are serving,
Right.
compared to the heavy engineering industry we are talking about. So with the AI has come, yes, it's going to be altogether a different, aspects we are looking into it. Autonomous machines, auto braking, you name what, everything is under wrap now. Industries are exploring, they are doing it. In fact, if you take a farm sectors, I mean, you know that we used to have tractors. When I tell you a tractor, you think about 1970s or 1990s tractor with the wheels and things like that. If I show the tractor images now, you can't believe it has a LED lights.
Okay.
The styling, if you see that, in fact, I was recently looking into John Deere. John Deere is a very, very big company, US-based company, making tractors. In US, they have a lawns, they have a farm field,
Fields.
These huge fields, and they map through their, sensors. They know precisely where to harvest, what is the status, like that.
Machines know that.
Yes. I mean, if you literally see the farm equipments, the amount of technology they have, we do have in our paver machines, we have a 3D scanning facility is there. 3D, which means like the sensor will do a 360-degree scanning and tell you that, where the paving things has to happen, the level surfaces and everything. So it has gone way ahead in terms of a technology. The question is more of affordability. Right? Not all the markets. Like if you see even in Russia now, you take Russia, South America, they are into a tier 3 norms, emission norms, whereas India has gone to stage 5, which is a much more stringent norms in terms of emission regulations. So by geography wise, country wise, affordability is a major challenge. So not everyone can be able to afford this kind of a technology, but yes, we are pretty much advanced in terms of a technology to meet the customer and the market demand.
Yeah, that's amazing actually. It is surprising to know that construction machine equipments are closely competing with the automotives. They are adapting to those changes. That was surprising to know actually. That's amazing. So great insight on how technology is evolving actually. So with this diversified experience into automotive and construction machinery, have you evolved your own innovation theory, which is not documented, but which is more effective and simple? We want to share that if you are okay with our audience.
Well, so this is my own story. It's nothing from the book. My experience or my ups and downs in my career. Very first thing I would say this, identify a talent in a person. I was saying that each and every people is unique.
Correct.
They have certain strengths and weaknesses. Right. We as a leader have to identify those strengths and weaknesses. And if you spot a strength, dwell onto it and try to help them to know their strength so that they can contribute in a better way, in an efficient way. Right. And number 2 is trust.
Interesting.
As a leader, you have to trust your team. Yes, it cannot be a blind trust. No, it takes a time to trust people, but at the same time, it should not take a time in such a way like, after 10 years, I know you very well. Trust. If I want to say an example, like, I give an opportunity to the people, even though they are not from one specific system function area, he doesn't have an experience, I'll tell him that, you have a right mindset, come over and perform. Yes, there might be some glitches in the initial phase, but then I'm proud to give that opportunity to the people. So make a trust very quickly so that you can able to. We don't have a time to do a testing ground here and there and finally reward a guy with a trust. No. So that comes in a longer way anyway. But then try to trust the people and try to see their capabilities.
Right. Okay.
Number 3 is empower them. Right. So give them a proper tools, give them a proper space. Empower them to do what they have to do. Let's say, for example, if you have intermediate leaders are there, empower them to take a decision.
Okay.
You don't have to be a micromanaging boss. Right. Because by doing that, so they also know how to take a decision. They also try to align with you. Right. You can have a review sessions and everything, but still empower them. And as I was telling about, the fourth one is time, and provide them a kind of opportunity for the fail. It's not opportunity only for success. Yes, success comes, we celebrate. Try to celebrate failure as well. So because the failure happens, that happens at your leadership level within your team, right? So we have to protect that.
Okay.
So let them do new things. Let them fail, and try to walk along with them. Just don't give an instruction, walk out. So have a constant review with them, have a constant session with them, provide them a time, walk along with them. They might feel, get into a roadblock, they'll have some kind of a mind block. Maybe instead of one brain, 2 or 3 brains. And sometimes what I used to do is, instead of one guy, 2 guys or 3 guys get together, come up with. So then then you're going to see that things getting rolled,
faster.
very, very faster like that. So each and every individual, he has to believe that you are behind them. You are there to support them, and that trust has to be there.
Support in case of success as well as in case of failure.
In case of failure, exactly. And I had several bosses who stood behind me, and I don't have to fear about anything. And he come and say, pat me, okay, fine, go to the next one, try. So that encourages you, that's how you take a risk. You let your team to take a risk, and by the learning curve they have, they succeed.
Right.
The success factors will increase. So lastly, recognize them.
Okay.
Reward them, recognize them. So if you don't do that, then what happens is that sometimes people feel like, why I'm doing this.
True.
Right. So of course there are other matrices are there. You are trying to map with the business values and everything is there, but then reward them with the right, compensations, or give them a kind of a motivation, something. So that plays a key role. As I was saying earlier, many company doesn't even have a policy for recognition, this patents and things like that, right? So please recognize them so that they'll be feeling happy about the contribution they have provided for the self as well as for the organization.
That's really great. So all your 5 factors are mostly towards how to manage resources effectively. And if the resources are effective, the output would be effective, I guess, right?
Exactly. End of the day, if you don't have a resource, Sunit, you're no longer a leader.
That's true.
Right? You say you are a leader because you have someone to develop on,
right?
Learn from them, coach them, train them, and show the results. Right? If team is not there, end of the day, it's the people who makes a difference. You can pour in billions and millions of money into it. If you don't have a right talent in you, you have the team is not there.
Right.
Then where does it go?
True. Very true. I agree with that actually. Yeah. So with this, do you have any suggestions to the upcoming innovation leaders who would be heading R&D team like you're doing with a lot of diverse resources and working in a very crucial environment or timelines? So do you have any suggestions or recommendations for these kind of leaders?
Good question. So I generally don't give advice to anyone. See, principally, leadership or leadership styles or leadership qualities, they are not born. Or each and every people are just evolving of themselves based on experiences, right? If you have a right mindset, if you have a right attitude, so number one is try to learn from your seniors.
Right.
While you're going to first of all, you have to learn from your parents the right values,
Right.
ethics, discipline, the hard work, the sacrifice they made.
Right.
So the learning comes from there, right? So learn from your seniors, number one, from your parents. If you have done that, then as you're stepping into the corporate world or in the professional life, you look for some great leaders. You're good for look for some great colleagues.
Great.
Observe them. So they might do a mistake, and you can learn from them. They might be a fantastic people in terms of leadership skills, which you can learn from them.
Okay.
Right? So that is a strategy which I have adapted, and I have my own leadership style.
Okay.
And I've put into the test ground also. It has worked for me. Yes, of course, I do read a lot of books.
Okay.
But then it's more of. I'll tell you one example. Back in JCB, I used to have one colleague. We used to have a book reading session daily, every Friday morning, and we used to take some leadership topic and we read. And we take a chapter. One guy has to read a day before. He will come and explain to other people like that. So years passed on. Almost a couple of years I've done, and this guy, one of my ex-colleague, he left the company and went and joined GE. So there, he was going through some leadership training, and he was saying that Mr. Prasad, and in fact he called me. He said like whatever we have learned, or I have learned over there, or the style which you have reflected during your tenure, I'm seeing everything in the course here, which means the so-called individual is pretty much keen in observing what you are doing.
Right. Right.
So you have to be a benchmark to other people.
Right.
As a leader, when you come to the leadership role, people are looking at you.
Right.
Right? Your wrong leadership will cost many people's life.
Right.
In terms of if they learn your wrong things, then he becomes a leader. Then I really feel sorry for the team.
This cyclic effect can
Right.
escalate to an extent that.
Right. See, I reflect. I'm currently working with the great leaders. In fact, I nourish with them, and few mistakes they do it. Maybe my interpretation of that could be wrong. But I have to see from his perspective because he is at a different leadership level.
Right.
Maybe from his side it's right.
Right.
So all this analysis we have to do it. But try to be a role model, and so that people are looking at you, eyes are watching you, and I'm pretty much sure that you'll inspire someone as you got inspired by someone else.
That's great philosophy.
Yes. And a person like Prasad can able to come to this level. I'm pretty much sure that everyone can come to this level. That is, I'm not a kind of a guy who has finished a PhD, with a premium colleges like that. But then I have evolved over a period of time with a right mindset. So I started my career, as I was saying, about in a small company where one day I have to take components, I have to deliver to the customer and see that how the learning takes place. I have to take the components, deliver the assembly to my client, Tata Motors. So I hardly have 2 days left out to complete the assembly. And one of the critical things is you have some bearing housing assembly for Tata Sumo, and you take that component and going for CNC turning, and then coming over to a supplier number 2, do a grinding and everything. So one of the places we have to do a honing operation. Honing operation is meeting some close diametrical tolerance. So I have to take it from my company to a supplier, to a vendor, which is like close to 18 kilometers away.
Okay.
So, and all you have is only a bicycle to take it.
Okay.
Once again to the same bicycle story.
Okay.
So those days, even nowadays, I would say, those days the roads are not clean, and it's a monsoon time where I reached to a point where it's hardly 800 meters from the place where that shop is there, and I see the entire road. The road is full of big stones. They're trying to lay the roads, but they kept the stones and left out. So it is 100% sure that you cannot drive your cycle over there. And adding to that, there is a lot of rain. Water accumulations and everything. So you have to go there, and there is no other choice. I have to go. So I took my cycle, went over there, and one spot where I found that there is a drainage overflowing, and sadly, state of India is still the same, in some places.
Okay.
So I was just keeping my fingers crossed. You know what? I should not fall here. If I fall down, then I'm done. And life always treats you in a different way. The moment when you think about good things will not happen, but these things. So I tripped.
Oh,
Okay.
oh my God. Okay.
So I had a wooden box behind my carrier, and all the components threads.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
now it's like I look at forward, backward. There's no one there. You're the only guy standing, in the rain, and who will come and take it, right? So hands. Literally, it was a drainage water mixing there, and I literally have to use my hands to pick up the components. And of course, went to the vendor and told him I washed it over there, and asked him to do it. Why I'm saying that story is, if a task is there for you, go to an extreme extent to complete it. Don't shy away. I had a choice that just leave it and come. Right? You can say that it got lost, so go and make another component.
Correct.
But that's not a thing. I have a goal to be finished, so go and get it. So I don't mind. Today my hands are clean. Those days my hands are dirty. So take a challenge. The life is all about risk.
Correct. Correct.
Take it as a challenge. Move forward. Go to the last mile. Maybe success lies over there.
Okay.
Do not give up. So I'd like to end my entire session with that. Have a hope, have a faith, and hard work. Please do that. Have a right mindset, right attitude. Keep learning, because that's one. It's going to take you to the
Next level.
to compete with everyone we have. Thank you.
That's great insight. So thank you, Mr. Prasad, for accepting my invitation. It was really insightful and knowledgeable session. I hope many people will get inspired and learn many things from you. With this, I hope you have liked this session. You have learned many things from Mr. Prasad. If you have any questions, you can comment in the comment box. I will try to get access of Mr. Prasad and try to get answers for you. If you think that it is useful for any colleague, relatives of yours, please don't forget to share this knowledge with your peers and relatives who need it the most. And at the last, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Keep innovating and keep learning. All the best. Thank you.